guys! So it's the 1st of July and time for a 2018 OneBook July video. I've taken part in OneBook July every year since 2015, which was the second year of the challenge. I've never actually cut down to one book and one pen. Although ironically, the first year that the challenge ran, 2014, I didn't know about it, but at that point I was actually only using one planner, so that's pretty funny. But by 2015 I'd accumulated a large collection of planners that I was using for all manner of different things, and I decided to take part in the challenge just to see if I could get rid of anything, which I thought would be highly doubtful. And I ended up streamlining my lineup quite a lot. I went from, I think, maybe, I don't know, 8 different planners and binders to 3. Work, home and personal, and I was really pleased with that. So by the time the second year of the challenge came round, I was really looking forward to it, and I wanted to get my planning system down to as few books as possible. So that year I got it down to 2 planners. My work planner, which is a Hobonichi Cousin, as it is now, was then, and Hobonichi Weeks, my personal planner. And I couldn't get it down any further than that, mostly because I just don't like mixing my work and personal planners, although obviously in an emergency I could, but I don't want to. So by that point I think I was using a daily planner and a budget planner and a number of other specific planners as well, and I cut all of them out. And then by the end of the month I think I ended up with more planners than ever. And then last year I decided to do the Go Big or Go Home version of the challenge, and I decided to use a different daily planner every day because I had a whole bunch of undated notebooks and various daily planners, and that was a lot of fun. So this year I've been thinking about what to do, and I thought I would just go through the different versions of the challenge and explain my thoughts about them and whether or not I'd like to take one of them on this time. So as you can see here, I have got 4 planners in front of me, and these are the planners that I'm currently using. I've actually got 3 planners and 1 tracker. So this, as I mentioned, is my weeks, which is my personal planner, and I use it for everything that's not work related. And that's what the current week looks like. And then this is my Hobonichi Cousin, which I use for everything work related. And this is the big hardbound Erin Condren, which is our home planner, and I use that for everything that has to do with me and James and our dogs, and it stays open on the table. And I also use it as a chance to engage in a lot of planner decoration, which I don't do so much in my other planners. And then the final one is the Hobonichi 5-year Techo, which I use as a gratitude log, and I just jot down the highlights of the day, so it's kind of like a basic memory keeper. So as you can see, I've actually got the same 3 planners that I ended up with after I did the first year OneBook July challenge, work, home and personal, and that seems to work really well for me. In between I've had all kinds of different planners. I think I started 2018 with about 8 or 9 different planners. Not all planners, but all dated books which I was using for some purpose or other. So like a vision book where I would write down positive things that I wanted to happen, a planner that I was just using to write down like kind of self-care activities, and a few others that fell by the wayside. And so naturally, I think over the course of the first couple of months of the year, my system ended up streamlining itself, and it's got down to this, which I think is ideal. Work, personal and home is perfect. Really I could just get by with these 2, but it's nice having the home planner as well. And then this one, like I said, isn't really being used as a planner. So I don't want to do the original version of the challenge in the form of 1 book, 1 pen, 1 month, because I feel like that just doesn't work for me. And the whole point of OneBook July is to experiment and find out what works for you, and so I think there's no reason to do that just for the sake of it, because I really like this system. I love having all of my work stuff in here because I know that I'll have enough room for everything, and it often gets really complicated. So as you can see here, and you know, I would rather just have 1 book that's solely dedicated to work. So I mean, I find it kind of jarring, the idea of having my work stuff right next to things like order Amazon stuff, or you know, like I like to have them separate. And also I like the fact that if I open this at work, that it's all just work stuff and I don't worry about anyone seeing anything that's not work related. So that works really well for me. And also I get to decorate my personal planner, and I really, really like that. So I definitely don't want to abandon one of these for the month just for the sake of it, because it would also annoy me having a blank month and it would just mess up my system. So definitely not going to do that. The home planner, I tried giving up 2 years ago when I went down to the 2 books, and it was fine, we managed. It's not like we really need it, but I enjoy having it, and it's a big part of my, I guess I would say, way of sort of maintaining mental health is to be able to decorate a planner, and I really look forward to that. And that's, you know, like kind of a huge sort of positive in my week is the times when I get to do some planner decoration. And so I wouldn't want to give that up for a month for no practical gain. I know that this system works really well. And like I said, this one isn't a planner anyway, so I don't want to give up my gratitude log for the month. So that was all a very long-winded way of saying that I'm definitely going to be keeping these 4 planners for the month. So that's version 1.0. Version 2.0 is the project. So in the past, when this came out a couple of years ago, this version 2.0, I thought, oh my goodness, the last thing I want is another project, because I've really been struggling. Well, it's been going on for years, but I think it's been getting worse recently with just feeling incredibly overwhelmed at work and not having enough free time, and like just feeling extremely stressed and anxious about all of my responsibilities, and like they just keep growing and growing and growing. And so when I heard project, I just was like, oh my god, no, I don't want another project, like no more projects. I don't want anything else that I have to do. And somehow in my head that was how it was interpreted. So this year I'm actually thinking a bit differently, because I know that it wasn't intended to be like you have to give yourself, you know, a big job to do. You know, I was thinking like something like, I don't know, reorganizing our flat, or doing something practical but hard was how I imagined it. And I was just like, no, I can't face it. So this year I'm actually thinking maybe it could be something a bit different that's more fun, and I'll come back to that in a minute. So on to version 3.0, Go Big or Go Home. As I mentioned, this is the one that I did last year when I decided to use a different daily planner every day for the whole month, and that was a lot of fun, because for the first time I felt like I could give myself permission to use all of the different notebooks that had been sitting on my shelf for ages, that I'd been feeling like I had to keep for the perfect use. And then I thought, you know what, the perfect use is probably never going to come along, so let me just use them now and have fun. And I had this giant stack of different planners, and it was great. By the end of the month, I think I felt like I'd had enough of switching out my daily planners every day, and I was actually looking forward to going back to just using one daily planner. Ironically, or maybe it's not ironic, it's just, I don't know, noteworthily, I am actually not using a daily planner at all now. I've just been doing my daily planning in my weeks. When I need to, I just make a long list on this side of the page, and that's been working fine. So I was trying to think of a different sort of Go Big or Go Home challenge that I could do, and I just haven't been able to think of anything, because like I said, I like this system. I was thinking, you know, maybe I should think of something to use a big happy planner for. I have used a big happy planner in the past for meal planning, which, if you know me, then you know meal planning never lasts long with me. I don't have any bigger planners than that, so I know it doesn't have to be interpreted literally, but I just couldn't think of another Go Big or Go Home style challenge to do. And then we come to version 4, the new version, digital planning. So I think that there are a few certainties in life. For me, one of them is that I don't like maths and I don't like digital planning. This is not to say that I think there's anything wrong with digital planning or I'm opposed to it anyway. I just know that it's not for me. And I guess you could say, how do you know that if you've never tried it? Because I have never done digital planning. I've never kept any kind of dates or anything on my phone. I've never used Google Calendar. I use Outlook calendar only in the most minimal way, in that at work Outlook is used. I don't use it myself, but sometimes when appointments are booked centrally, you know, like big meetings of the faculty or something, they get put into Outlook, and so occasionally I use it just to double check that I've got the right location, because I put it all into my cousin. But then, like, if I'm on the way to my meeting and I've got my phone out, instead of getting my cousin out of my bag, occasionally I will just check if the meeting is listed there, because it will always show the room. But that's it. That's all I use it for. And I never put anything in it myself, and I don't even check it unless it's just kind of, it's really unusual that I would check it, maybe once every couple of months. So I've never done any kind of digital planning, and it's just something that's never appealed to me. And I think part of it is because I just love paper planning, and I've always been a paper planner ever since I started planning, which was like more than 20 years ago. And it just never occurred to me to use a different system. And I think part of it, and I talked about this a while ago in a video about why I love paper planning, part of it is just that I love books, and I love stationery, and I love writing equipment, and I love the feel of the planner in my hand. I also love the fact that it's not going to freeze or refresh or stop working, or any of the things that I'm used to with digital equipment. And the fact that it's always there, it's always reliable, and I just really love the feel of it and the look of it. And I think somehow I'm just so used to it that the idea of stepping into digital planning, even as an experiment, just doesn't appeal to me. So it's possible that I would try it and I would really like it, but I just don't want to do it, because I love my system, I love my planners. Like I said, I wouldn't want to give any of them up, so I wouldn't want to switch everything over to digital planning for the month. And I don't want to add another layer of complexity. Like I just don't see a reason to have to put everything in here and then also put it on some kind of digital system. Even like for daily planning or to-dos, I hate writing things on my phone. I don't like sending texts. I use WhatsApp, and obviously I write sometimes, quite often actually, I write emails on my phone as well, just if I'm on the tube or I don't have my laptop with me and I have to answer some work emails. But I hate it. I don't like predictive spelling. I find it really frustrating, and so it's not something that I would kind of do if I didn't have to, I guess. And I spend so much time in front of a laptop anyway, just as a normal part of the day, that it's very refreshing not to have to use it when I don't need to. So this is all just to explain why I feel like digital planning is just definitely not a challenge that I would like to do, even though, again, like I have nothing against it. I think, it's great, and it's become very popular in recent months in the planner community, and I have nothing against that at all. I just feel like it's not for me, or it's not something that I want to try. So that leaves me with a question of what to do. So I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, well, maybe this year I won't take part in OneBook July, and that kind of made me sad, because it's such a big thing in the planner community, and I really enjoy being part of it. And it's not like you have to be doing it yourself to follow the updates, but I just would like to do it. And so I was thinking, well, what would a way of doing it be that would be fun, that would just be like a kind of like a nice treat rather than feel like a task? Because I think that's not what it's designed to be. It's not designed to make you feel like you've got a burden. It's supposed to be enjoyable. And so I thought, like, something that I really like doing, but that I haven't done a lot recently, is Instagram posts of my planners, just because, like I said, I've been so overwhelmed and stressed with work that everything else has kind of fallen by the wayside, which is why I haven't made any videos for such a long time. So I thought, making a video every day I think that's kind of too much of a commitment, but making an Instagram post every day is quite manageable, and that would be a nice way of focusing on the planning hobby and like focusing on my planners in a fun way. And it would just be like, kind of a few minutes every day that would just be like a nice way to enjoy planning, I guess. So that's what I think I'm going to do. So I've decided that slots into version 2.0, a project, because that would be kind of a project, but not a project in the way that I was thinking before, where it's like this big job that you have to get done. So it would be more like a fun challenge. And I know a lot of people post on Instagram every day anyway, so it's like not a big thing. But because I have only been doing it very sporadically, because everything that's not work or an obligation just always ends up not happening. So I thought this would be a way of trying to make July a month where I can focus on something fun. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do an Instagram post every day of like one of my planners or something planner related. And I'm really excited about that because I think that it'll be fun, and the fact that I've kind of committed to doing it for OneBook July means that I will actually do it. And what I'm going to do is, in my personal planner, I'm going to put one of these photo stickers. Let me just bring that close up. These are in one of the little packs of, I think it's the Love Yo Selfie, like kind of mini pack of Happy Planner stickers. And there are quite a lot of these cameras, so I'm just going to take one of these every day and put it in my planner, and that will be a reminder that I have to take a photo for Instagram, which will be really fun. And so I'm looking forward to that, and I'm excited about it, and I think it's manageable, and it will just be like a nice treat. So that is going to be my OneBook July, an Instagram planner photo every day, and I'm really looking forward to starting. So I hope that you enjoyed this. If you're doing OneBook July, I am wishing you a great start to the month. And also, if you're not doing OneBook July, have a great start to July. And I will be back again soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.